wearing number 12 for Team USA during the FIBA
Yeah.
Women's World Cup qualifying tournament. Obviously, we know that that number is very tied to you. What was your reaction when you saw that?
I mean, it's so cool, to see Caitlin not only wear the USA jersey, but number 12. I just spent I spent 2 decades wearing that jersey and that number, and I couldn't think of anyone better to take it and put it on and just have an amazing career, and Caitlin will do that.
Diana Taurasi just gave Caitlin Clark the most powerful blessing in women's basketball history. And if you don't understand why that matters, why a retired legend going on record to say no one better to wear the 12 is a seismic moment, then you don't understand what that number represents. You don't understand what it costs. You don't understand what it carried. The number 12 jersey for Team USA wasn't just a shirt.
Caitlin Clark obviously is wearing Diana Taurasi's jersey number for Team USA, and Diana Taurasi was asked about it. And she said, "It's so cool to see Caitlin not only wear the USA jersey number 12, I spent 2 decades wearing that jersey and that number, and I couldn't think of anyone better to take it and put it on and just have an amazing career." And Caitlin's going to put some gold medals on that jersey.
For 2 decades, it was a symbol. 6 Olympic gold medals, 3 FIBA World Championships, the most decorated basketball player, man or woman, in Olympic history. That was the number Diana Taurasi wore every single time she stepped on that court for the United States of America. And now it belongs to Caitlin Clark. And the woman who built that legacy didn't hesitate for a single second before saying she deserves it. Not eventually. Not with time, right now, immediately, completely.
Put it on and just have an amazing career, and Caitlin will do that. She had a great qualifiers down in Puerto Rico. It's just going to be fun to watch her play, and the summer in Germany, and then the Olympics. No one better to wear the 12, and Caitlin's going to put some gold medals on that jersey, I know it.
Agreed. And then
let's talk about what number 12 actually is before we go any further, because context matters here. Diana Taurasi put on that jersey for the first time over 2 decades ago and never let it go. Not at Athens, not at Beijing, not at London or Rio or Tokyo, not even at Paris in 2024, when she was 42 years old, coming out of retirement one final time, giving everything she had left to add one more gold medal to the most remarkable international basketball resume ever assembled. The league has changed forever. Subscribe now, because the next story might be even bigger than this one.
As you guys know, before Caitlin Clark entered the league, there was the infamous quote from Diana Taurasi where she's like, "Reality's coming. Like, I know she's great in college, but reality's coming. Just wait and see. The WNBA is a completely different game. It's more physical, blah, blah, blah." And like that clip went so very viral. But what I kind of explained to you guys in that moment as well, because I had been watching Diana Taurasi since I was a kid, like that's kind of her personality. And then you saw very, very quickly when those two played against one another, and Caitlin played great in those matchups against the Phoenix Mercury. Diana Taurasi is somebody who, she respects Caitlin now. Caitlin Clark earned the respect of Diana Taurasi.
Every single one of those 6 golds came with that number on her back. Every iconic moment, every clutch bucket, every game-changing assist, every look that said, "I have been here before and I will win," that was number 12. That was Taurasi. The number wasn't assigned to her. Over time, she assigned herself to it. And then she retired, and the number became available. And the question the entire basketball world was quietly asking, even if nobody was saying it out loud, was, who in the world is actually worthy enough to put that on their back?
Diana Taurasi was brutally humbled when she's never beaten Caitlin Clark. No, Caitlin Clark is undefeated versus Diana Taurasi in the WNBA matchup. While the Phoenix Sun had Diana Taurasi on their team, the Indiana Fever won every single game. Caitlin Clark balled, made it her business. Caitlin Clark made it her business to shine when she played Diana Taurasi.
The answer, as it turns out, had been waiting in Indiana the entire time. Now here's something a lot of people missed in the noise. Caitlin Clark doesn't wear number 12 with the Indiana Fever. She wears number 22, the same number she wore at the University of Iowa on her way to becoming the NCAA's all-time leading scorer in the history of men's and women's college basketball. That number means everything to her. But FIBA's rules don't allow jersey numbers above 15 in international competition. So when Clark was assigned to Team USA for the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament in Puerto Rico, number 22 was completely off the table. No, 11 was already taken by Ray Burrell of the Los Angeles Sparks. And so, by some combination of logistics, fate, and what Diana Taurasi strongly suspects was a very calculated decision by a very particular person, Caitlin Clark was handed number 12, the number that hadn't been worn by another Team USA player since the greatest international basketball player of all time stepped away from the game. Whether it was fate or a very deliberate master plan, it doesn't matter right now. What matters is what happened next.
Caitlin Clark is wearing number 12.
So she's insinuating that Caitlin Clark basically wore number 12 because of Sue Bird. Now I'm here to tell you, we don't definitively know if Sue Bird played a role in Caitlin Clark wearing number 12. From my understanding, what I heard is that the players randomly received their numbers.
Taurasi was asked directly in her interview with Sports Illustrated's Women's Fast Break, did she have any hand in Clark wearing her number? And the answer she gave was one of the funniest, most perfectly Taurasi things you've ever heard. "You know, once I'm out of things, I'm out," she said. Maybe Sue, she's a little bit more calculated than people think. So maybe that was a Sue job. That wouldn't surprise me. And the moment she said Sue job, meaning Sue Bird, legendary point guard, current managing director of Team USA Women's Basketball, the internet completely lit up. Because if you know Sue Bird, you know that description is 100% accurate. Bird has spent her entire post-playing career building the infrastructure of Team USA Women's Basketball with quiet, surgical, strategic precision that most people never see and almost no one talks about. The idea that Bird looked at the jersey list, saw number 12 sitting there available, looked at Caitlin Clark's name on the roster and made a very deliberate call. That is entirely believable, almost uncomfortably believable. And either way, the shirt was on Clark's back, and now it was time to see what she would do with it.
Caitlin Clark won't be going to the Olympics in Paris this summer. The WNBA rookie was left off the Team USA roster. 3 sources say her omission was partly over concerns about how her fans would react when she would likely be getting playing time. Caitlin, through it all, says she's good. She's going to be working towards the next Olympic team.
Honestly, no disappointment. I think it just gives you something to work for. That's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
Before we get into the performance, we need to talk about the context. Because Caitlin Clark being handed the number 12 jersey was not without history. It was not without a painful backstory that this whole moment exists directly in the shadow of. In the summer of 2024, Caitlin Clark was left off the Team USA roster for the Paris Olympics. The selection committee, operating under a system that prioritized veteran continuity and established international chemistry, chose not to include the most talked-about basketball player in America, the player who had just shattered the all-time NCAA scoring record, the player who had just delivered historic March Madness viewership numbers, the player who was single-handedly transforming WNBA economics one sold-out arena at a time. She was left home. And Diana Taurasi, at 42 years old coming out of retirement, was on that plane to Paris instead. That's not a dig at Taurasi. She earned her spot. She always earns her spot. But the contrast was real, and the conversation that followed was loud and uncomfortable and very public. Clark had to watch from home while Team USA won gold in Paris without her. Then came the injuries. 239 days without competitive basketball on top of that Olympic exclusion. And this moment, Clark stepping onto an international court wearing Taurasi's number was the wait finally decisively ending.
Caitlin Clark has so many assists versus Senegal. She even had Angel Reese out there looking like a better player. And eye space too far apart. Reese knew she better have made that layup or we was going to get on her sloth dome expeditiously. You see, Angel Reese, when you bow down and pray to the God Caitlin Clark like the rest of us, good things happen to you. Clark, this is smart. You see how she's open under the basket. Clark passes it to her left hand, so it's an easy left pivot for the layup, and it also blocks the defender off on the right side because Clark has that magic vision, man. And like one of my followers said, Clark was so amazing out there, she even got the slothful bucket.
Now here's where this story gets truly extraordinary. Because Taurasi wasn't out here being diplomatic for cameras. She wasn't saying the polite, safe thing because someone in a PR office told her she should. She was saying exactly what she meant. And what she meant was enormous. It's so cool to see Caitlin not only wear the USA jersey, but number 12, Taurasi said. I spent 2 decades wearing that jersey and that number, and I couldn't think of anyone better to take it and put it on and just have an amazing career. And Caitlin will do that. She had a great qualifier down in Puerto Rico. It's just going to be fun to watch her play in the summer in Germany and then the Olympics. No one better to wear the 12, and Caitlin's going to put some gold medals on that jersey. Read that again slowly. No one better to wear the 12. That is not a compliment from an analyst. That is not a tweet from a fan account trying to generate engagement. That is the woman who wore that number for 6 Olympic gold medals, telling the entire sports world, on record, with her name attached, that Caitlin Clark is the rightful heir to everything she built. In women's basketball, there is no higher endorsement. That is the passing of the torch done in the most official, most definitive, most meaningful way possible. The league has changed forever. Subscribe now, because the next story might be even bigger than this one.
Put some gold medals on that jersey, I know.
Now, see, we love when real GOATs and real greats acknowledge the other upcoming GOATs and the upcoming greats. And for all the weird haters that's saying Caitlin Clark ain't gonna, I don't know if she makes the Olympics, I don't know. You should never talk basketball. And DT just burst y'all bubble with that. The people that say Caitlin Clark ain't gonna make the Olympics, listen, don't have no conversation with those type of people. Also, DT said there was no one better to put in that jersey. Let that sink in.
And then Clark had to go out there and actually justify it. Because wearing that number is one thing, being worthy of it is something else entirely. Her debut came against Senegal on March 11th. She came off the bench. She hadn't touched a competitive court in 239 days. And on her very first possession in a Team USA jersey, the very first one, she ran a pick-and-roll with Monique Billings and threw a pocket pass so precise and so perfectly timed that Billings barely had to break stride. That was her introduction to international basketball, not a cautious jumper to shake the rust off, not a layup to ease back into rhythm, a perfect pass, an immediate statement, a quiet but unmistakable declaration that said, I have been waiting for this, and I am completely ready. By the end of that game, she had 17 points, 12 assists, and 4 three-pointers, all in just 20 minutes of play. She personally accounted for 38 points, nearly as many as Senegal scored as an entire national team. And those 12 assists in a single game? Second most in Women's World Cup qualifying history. In her debut, coming off the bench, after 239 days away, the number wasn't intimidating her. She was honoring it in real time.
Team USA was cold. Caitlin come in, look, straight to it. No playing. Straight to it. They only had 5 points. Look, lock up deep. There that defense y'all say she can't play. Oh, what you gonna do, Caitlin? Show us something. Come here. Bang! Oh, come here. Let me mix you up. Oh, come here. Go up. There we go. Okay, work out. Creating her own shot. Creating her own shot. There that midi y'all say she can't shoot. Okay, the Caitlin Clark Paige Becker connection. Let's go.
The games that followed only deepened the story. Against Italy, she hit a logo 3 with 5 seconds left in the first quarter. A shot launched from so far behind the arc that FIBA's own social media account posted a slow-motion replay and called it poetry in motion. Spain's national team was sitting in the stands scouting Team USA. The cameras found their faces. They weren't watching the scoreboard. They were watching Clark, this player still coming off the bench in number 12, like she was a problem they hadn't fully prepared for. And they were right. Her plus-minus against Italy was the highest on the entire Team USA roster. When Clark was on the floor, the United States outscored Italy by 27 points. When she sat, that margin dropped significantly. The numbers were unambiguous. The stats were telling a story that no amount of rotation management could change. And she was doing all of it wearing a number that had carried the weight of 20 years of greatness, and somehow making it look like it had always been hers to carry.
Caitlin Clark wasn't even a full-time starter, and she still won MVP. And let me remind you, this is the same player who didn't make Team USA in 2024. And now fast forward, she's in the World Cup qualifier. Team goes undefeated. She comes off the bench, starts only one game, and still ends up being the best player on the floor. Not forcing it, not chasing stats, just controlling the game every time she was out on the floor. She managed to lead the team in points, assists, and efficiency, and won the MVP, while playing alongside other elite talent, and still found a way to separate herself.
By the end of the tournament, the case had been made emphatically, permanently, and without any room for debate. Over 5 games, Clark averaged 11.6 points and 6.4 assists per game. She shot 52.9% from the field, 40% from 3, and 85.7% from the free throw line. She led every player from every country in total assists, not just within Team USA, but across the entire qualifying tournament. She broke Chelsea Gray's all-time FIBA World Cup qualifying assists record, a record that had stood since 2020. And she did it in 4 games, 3 of which she spent coming off the bench. Team USA went 5-0. They dominated the competition. And when it was time to name the MVP, the TISSOT MVP award for the best player in the tournament, there was only one name: Caitlin Clark. Wearing number 12, doing exactly what Diana Taurasi said she would do, the jersey had found its next great chapter, and the first page of that chapter was already historic.
Me and Caitlin are really good friends. We get along really well. We've had some great interactions. I just absolutely love what she does on the court, off the court. When I watch her play and the way she goes about her business, there's this seriousness about it that I love. You know, she's taken this game to new heights, and it's been amazing to watch and follow her. And, you know, it's only going to get better for our league and for Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark grew up watching Diana Taurasi. She said it herself. Taurasi is someone she grew up idolizing and wanting to be like one day. That was the dream, the aspiration, the ceiling she kept reaching toward, the standard she measured everything against. And now she is wearing the number that Taurasi spent 20 years building into a symbol of American basketball dominance. Now she is the one representing the United States on the world stage. Now she is the one with the MVP award, and the record books, and the performances that are making other national teams pull extra film sessions and shift nervously in their seats. The torch has not just been passed. It has been grabbed, held with both hands, and immediately lit up in the most spectacular fashion possible. And the woman who carried it for 20 years watched it happen, went on record with Sports Illustrated, and said, without hesitation, without any trace of reluctance, that there is no one better. That is legacy speaking. That is one era formally recognizing the next. That is the most decorated international basketball player in history telling the world. Caitlin Clark is the right person for this moment, for this number, for this next chapter. Based on everything Clark just did in Puerto Rico, the 239-day wait she endured, the bench role she handled with quiet professional precision, the FIBA records shattered, the MVP hardware, the logo threes, the pocket passes, the plus-minus that made every argument against her look foolish. She did not just live up to Diana Taurasi's endorsement. She validated it instantly and permanently. The number 12 era has a new owner. And if Puerto Rico was the introduction, the World Cup in Germany and the Olympics beyond it are about to show the world the full story, just like Taurasi promised they would. This is the new WNBA, and things are just getting started. If you love this kind of breaking news and real stories, hit that subscribe button right now, and don't miss what's coming next. Because trust me, it's about to get even crazier.